And today I am talking to Gemma, and Gemma has been helping singles to find love since 2016. She does profile reviews for online dating, so not only photographs but also writing profiles. She also hosts in-person events as well for connecting people, so she's very much so all about helping single people to connect and to show their true selves and make the best impression they can and just break out of being stuck, which is very much so what I'm into as well. So when we chatted, I was like, yeah, we need to have a proper deep dive into this. So this is us. So Gemma, do you want to give a bit more about yourself?
Hi, yes, thanks for having me on. Excellent. My name is Gemma. I am a dating profile expert and host of all things amazing when it comes to in-person events for single professionals, actually. So yeah, I have a business called We Just Clicked. Randomly came up with a name.
I love this name.
Works really well.
I love it.
Popped into my head one night and was like, oh my God, We Just Clicked. And there's a story behind why that is the name as well, which I'm sure you'll ask me about it in a bit. It's related, I'm sure. And singles nights came about a little bit more recently after all the lockdowns and are also another way for people to meet. So it's great meeting people online, but also in person as well. I don't think there's any replacement for in-person interaction, to be honest. No substitute. Yeah. It's what I love. You've got the body language with it and all that kind of thing.
I think that's one of the challenges with online, actually. We can get a bit stuck into all the messaging and everything within the apps, and actually they're tools to meet people. Yeah. So you kind of almost need to treat them as that it's literally, I'm just getting to a first date or a pre-date with somebody to then
exactly.
Be able to the body language.
It is a tool, but I think one of my issues with online dating is I found that people hid behind their profile almost. And they could message what they want, how they wanted, and you could be messaging people for weeks, months before you even have a meetup. But for me, I always prefer to chat a little bit, just get a feel for if I went on a date with them, I would feel safe in their company, and then arrange a date.
Yeah.
I like I say, in person, that's what it's all about for me. That was my dating style preference.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting on my phone scrolling through this endless sea of singles, which is what it felt like sometimes.
Yeah, I would probably sum up when I was online dating. That stage was very efficient. It was like, get to the messages, go, arrange a date. And I had quite a lot of dates. And then it was like, it's when you actually meet somebody, that's when you let your kind of emotional side get more involved.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you do overhauls of profiles, which is amazing. And tell us what your kind of top tips for writing a good profile.
Top tips for writing a good dating profile. So be yourself. Don't fluff around the edges of anything. Just be concise, straight to the point. Be short. So not as in short as in abrupt. I mean short as in don't waffle, because if you picture people on their phones, on the bus, on the move, on the tube, all that kind of thing, everyone's in a rush these days. Everyone's too busy. So if you can just nail it straight to the point, highlight the key sort of values and morals that you have and that you're looking for in a partner. I also advise my clients to highlight maybe 2 things that they're passionate about, whether that's cooking, traveling, fitness, whatever it is, because at the end of the day, you're trying to meet someone with similar mindset to you. And similar interests, but not to the extent where you do the same things day in, day out together, because I also think it's very important to find that balance where you've got your own interests, go off and do your own thing, so yeah, definitely hobbies, interests. Don't go into too much detail. If you go into too much detail, then it doesn't give people a lot to go on in terms of asking you to elaborate on something.
Yeah.
So don't give too much away. Never give out any secure information, address, any, we all know this, but it's always worth pointing out. And yeah, just be unapologetically you.
I love that. And you say on your website about that, because the process that you do is that you chat with somebody and then you, from what they tell you, you write their profile, right?
Yes. So again, it depends on the client's interaction style that they like. So I've worked with clients from all over. All of the dating profile writing is done remotely, so I can actually work with anyone in the world, which is fantastic. I either have a Zoom with them or a phone conversation to get to know them first, or we'll have a few email interactions. But whichever way we do the profile, I always send out a survey initially. And that just asks loads of questions, and it's pretty much multiple choice, so people can select from options based on the question I'm asking. And when they've submitted that, so I ask them to just fill it out as quickly as they can without overthinking anything. So they will send me that. I'll go through all of their responses, and then I will always go back with more questions, or say, oh, you say that you really are not into DIY at all. Why is that? And I try and dig a little bit deeper, because there could be a bit of comedy that comes out in, like, oh, well, I tried to hammer a nail in when I was doing a shelf and bust my nail, or whatever, bust my finger. There could be just some funny thing that someone might laugh at and go, oh, it really amused me how you said that you whacked a hammer on the end of your finger and now you can't use the end. Why? I don't know. I also get them to elaborate on, like, I think travel's always been really important to me, and whenever somebody mentions they love traveling or seeing new places, I think there's huge opportunities there in what to talk about in your profile, because you've got travel highlights, horror stories, where you want to go next, where you wouldn't go back to, things like what's your ideal first date. I ask questions like so, and all of this, and then it's just written in a conversational style. In that, when all of the profiles are right, I also ask whoever's reading it some questions. So the idea is you have to make it as easy as possible for somebody to make the first move and start a conversation with you. So if you've just got a profile that says, I like cycling, enjoy beer, went to Spain, and people do that. They're so lazy with it. Whereas if you're showing somebody that you're invested in meeting your match, that means a lot to somebody. That really does mean a lot to somebody. And it's actually one of the reasons why I'm with my partner now, which again is another story, perhaps for later. But so make it conversational and ask questions to whoever's reading it to make it as easy as possible for them to start a conversation with you. That's what it's all about. Ease.
Yeah. What I was going to say, I loved on your website how you said that you write profiles that make it easy for somebody to make the first move. And that's great. All those tips that you just gave up, like asking questions within that profile, I don't think I've really seen that much before. So that's really cool.
I never saw it ever. But it's my own experience that's led me to want to help people to stand out on dating apps. I quite frankly was appalled at the lack of effort that people put into presenting themselves online. And I don't know if that's because I run a business and I'm out there in the networking world and I see people making an effort in business. Like, why are you not making an effort to find someone in your love life? Do you think someone's just gonna just happen upon you one day? Like, it's hard work to meet somebody, and you need every little bit of help that you can get to put your best foot forward on your dating journey, because it's not easy. It's a minefield. It really
It definitely is.
And I would be I would find it difficult if I found myself back on the dating scene, because it just fierce. It's fierce out there. There's a lot of competition as well. And
And
it's so easy for someone to just pass you by because they
Mm.
didn't stand out. And they could be the perfect person for you, but
Yeah.
just because you didn't notice them,
Yeah.
like you've got to think of your dating profile as a shop window, essentially. Imagine walking past Oliver Bonus on the high street and you see this beautiful mint green jumpsuit, let's say, is my favorite color at the minute, lime green and a mint green, and it catches your eye. Like, and if it was maybe like a dull hue of a brown or something, you probably walk by and won't even notice it. So it's, you know, just stand out, be bold, be bright, be colorful.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all about just catching somebody's eye initially.
Yeah. Seeing as we've touched on it, how did you meet your partner? And I think we know the answer.
I met Jamie on Tinder.
Same as me.
Yeah. So it did work. So don't get me wrong, I kissed a lot of frogs.
Mhm.
And you said you dated lots. I was somewhat of a serial dater. That's how my friends labeled me anyway. You're a serial dater, you're just always on dates. And it's like, well, it's research as well. I'm trying to find what I like and don't like in somebody. Yeah, so we met on Tinder. He broke the mold for me. And he is the reason I'm running We Just Clicked now, because he had a photo that stood out from so many other people's photos. And it wasn't a photo that showed necessarily exactly what he looked like, but the quality and composition of the photo caught my eye. Yeah. So I remember he actually had it taken for another reason. It wasn't for online dating, but he used a professional photo where he was sat in some salmon chinos, which he wouldn't normally wear, knowing now. Salmon chinos, a nice casual shirt, and just a bright white background.
Yeah.
And that caught my eye. And then I looked closer and I was like, I think I recognize him. And that was my in with him, because he didn't have a very well written profile. I'm not going to lie, like he didn't really go to too much effort, but he wasn't necessarily invested in meeting a long-term partner at that point. I'm not sure I was. But anyway, I started a conversation with him and I messaged him and I said, oh, your profile caught my eye. In actual fact, I recognize you. And I'm pretty sure I used to fancy you. I used to see you in the corridor at work. And then his response was, what do you mean you used to fancy me? And then it broke the ice. We got chatting, and within a week, no, a couple of days actually, we went on our first date. We just met up at the coffee shop where we both worked. We both worked at the university, met up at Costa, had a carrot cake and a hot chocolate, which is funny because he never has carrot cake and hot chocolate. It's like not his thing at all. But on that date, we both had carrot cake and we both had hot chocolate, and we just got on really well. We got on like a house on fire, and like we just clicked, literally just clicked, and that is where the name came from. So like I, putting some posts that put on social media that we just clicked, so could you, because it's possible. And you hear so many dating horror stories and online horror stories, but it is possible. You've just got to be invested and know what you want, when you want it, and why. Is it the right time for you to be online dating? Because when I was on there for the wrong reasons once, the right reasons for me, but the wrong reasons, for other people talking to me, probably leading them down a wrong path. If like, I'm not sure I'm ready to meet somebody properly. I just kind of I wanted friends, and I'm not talking friends with benefits. I'm talking like friends to go out with. But yeah, and then actually Jamie came along on the dating app when I was least looking for somebody. And I changed my mindset on dating at that point. And I felt like at one point I put a lot of pressure on myself to meet somebody. And I changed my mindset into, what if I'm just meeting people that they're just friends, potential friends. And then everything just became so much more relaxing. Conversations flowed easier. The first date felt easy because I put no pressure on myself that it could become something.
Definitely. That's what I used to actually. I kind of was like, every day there's a positive, and it's you know, if I learn something new or I go to a new place, then that was a good way to spend time, rather than going into every day being like, this might be the one. And like, you know, within 10 minutes, it's not the one. But you can still be kind and just enjoy a bit of company for an hour or so. And then be like, okay, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Another good tip is to don't be afraid to say you're not for me, or I'm not feeling any chemistry, because it's normal. Like you on a first meet, you should feel chemistry if there's something there. This is my own opinion, by the way. Like, it's going to be different for some people, but for me, I knew within a very short space of time whether there was any chemistry, and if I felt any kind of flutter in my body, then it was worth having a second date.
I find this one a bit challenging, because I think we've been so socially conditioned into chemistry. Sometimes in our minds is this like, whoa, like quite unrealistic, you know, meet cute rom-com type thing. And it's like, well, actually chemistry can be as basic as I enjoyed their company and I want to know more about them. And you know, I quite often say, like, for the first date, just keep it to an hour, and the only question you're answering is, do I want to see them again? Rather than, because our minds jump right ahead, don't they? Of like, oh, can I imagine walking down the aisle with this person?
I know.
It's like,
do you actually do that? And it's that's scary. That is scary, thinking too long term.
Definitely. But it's natural. It's how our minds kind of work. They're always trying to make shortcuts, aren't they? But anyways, back to profiles. I also loved on your website that you said you're on a mission to get rid of the bathroom selfie. What's so bad about the bathroom selfie?
Well, it's not a good look. As it's a selfie. Now, selfies, they whack your facial features out of proportion. So, and somebody showed me a selfie on a singles night recently, and their nose looked bigger than it was in real life.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I said to them, I know instantly it's a selfie, not only because of how close they were to the camera, but the nose was bigger, and all around here just looked a bit bulbous. And that wasn't how they looked in real life at all. The bathroom part is, I don't give a damn what you have got in your bathroom. I don't need to see a bottle of Domestos. I don't need to see I don't want to see. It's uninteresting. Like, everyone's got a bathroom. Like, I know you're gonna. I don't need to see a bathroom. It's just it just is lazy. And the other downside with when someone is in a bathroom taking a selfie, they're looking in the mirror at the same time. You know they're looking in the mirror, not just at their phone. But they over manipulate their facial expressions as well. I mean, I actually did a bit of research, signed up to a dating app as a male looking for a female once, just for half an hour, just to see what people were doing. And I was gobsmacked that women are still doing the stupid duck pout, trout pout, whatever you call it. And like, just pulling that duck is ridiculous, and putting bunny ears on the filters. I just can't believe people are still doing this.
I think that there's like you said at the start about hiding behind profiles, and I think there is some of that stuff is kind of, it's a wall to hide behind, isn't it? And again, it's a bit of social conditioning of like, if you've had years and years of being conditioned that, you know, the girls with the big lips and the big boobs are getting the guys, then you do all you can to enhance the lips and the boobs or whatever and it's not representing the true you. And that's why I love when you say, like, you know, show up as yourself.
Because there is this a pocket full of people for everybody. And if you're attracting the wrong kind of attention, you know, you have to start and question safety on dates. And, you know, I don't like to go down like a negative mindset with dates and stuff, but you do have to feel safe on your dates and safe in people's company. And, you know, flaunting yourself like that can attract the wrong kind of person. But the whole being unapologetically you is about attracting the right person, and the person that fancies you and loves you and is interested in you for who you are.
Yeah. And I think as well, like one of the great tips that I heard was your profile should almost like, you know, repel more people than it attract, because we can get into feeling it's a bit like social media, that it's about like getting as many likes as we can and as many matches as we can, but actually you just want to match with the people that you genuinely have a chance of making a connection with, because really like you're just looking for one person, not loads and loads of likes. But it has that, I think online dating has that same kind of addictive type digital manipulation that social media has, that again we all will fall prey to unless we're working on our mindset and keeping on the end goal. I think
I do like how you just said we need to like to get fewer likes and stuff is better than getting loads of likes, because then you are cutting out the bullshit. You're cutting out the people who aren't interested in somebody who has a dog, you know, you've got a dog and stuff like that.
What about photographs with fish?
I have a pet hate with this. I found when I was on dating apps that there was a lot of men on there holding like the carp that they caught in a competition. And I just find that really, I personally found that really off-putting, like for two reasons. One, are they going to be going fishing all the time? Two, will they smell a fish?
It's not just you. I had a group session the other week and we had about 10 minutes where the women were all saying, like, and various ages, like the age group is 30s to 60, and they were all kind of like, what's with the pictures with the fish? I don't get it. They just didn't understand why they're there.
It's a really common thing. In fact, a guy that I've dated had a photo of a fish. I knew him outside of dating apps. He did a lot of fishing, but then when I checked his profile, I was like, oh man, take the fish off, or at least don't have it as your lead profile photo. Like your lead profile photo, like I said, is your shop window. Like that needs to be like your money shot. What a fish. I don't care.
So then you branched into doing in-person events as well. So do you think it's quite important for people to do online and in person?
Absolutely. It does depend what falls within your comfort zone though, obviously. So I launched Single Mingle in November 2021, sort of after chatting with clients on photo shoots about, I was just asking, like, if there was something in person, would you go to it, like an event where you can meet singles? And they were like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'd love to do something like that. But they seem to not want it to be speed dating. So there's a lot of that about, let's face it, a lot of speed dating. So this was in the October of 2021. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to chat to a venue, see if I can use a corner of their room and put a singles event on. And that was in the November, and it sold out, and I literally had people queuing at the door to get in this event, and I could not believe how much of a thirst there was for in-person singles socials. So it's a thing now. I do them twice a month. I've got one coming up this Friday in Nottingham city centre, and it really is just a lovely, relaxed vibe. People still are dating online, you know, so they mix it up a little bit. Some go to speed dating events, some go to the socials, some use online dating, or a combination of them all. And I think that's really nice because they're trying different things. And I've actually had singles who have been coming, they still come to my events from the day it launched. Not necessarily because they're not looking for any immediate, I need to find someone now. You know, they've come with the expectations they're probably going to grow their social circle, and that's what my events are about. They're about meeting new people, making new friends, building your dating confidence, and learning how to put yourself out there in a positive way again, rather than hiding behind the profile.
I do think that's really key, because then like there's almost a sweet spot of the two. So if you've been to some events and you've gotten a bit more practice with chatting, then the dates aren't as scary when you do get the messaging through to a date. But equally, if you're on online dating and you've got somebody sending you some kind of flirty messages, that gives you a bit of a pep in a step when you go to a social event, that you can feel more confident.
Exactly.
And also, it's like we touched on it earlier about like we're kind of afraid to put effort into finding somebody. But when you think about all the effort that you put into finding a job, you're on LinkedIn, you're signing up at recruitment agents, you're using all your network as much as you can. It actually blows my mind a little bit that we're afraid to put
because
sustainable put effort
relationships
into dating.
are like your life. Relationships are life. Like your career is your life. You spend more time working than doing most of the stuff, like honestly. And the same goes for your love life, you know. You absolutely should be putting as much effort into it, if not more. You know, jobs come and go. The hope is relationships stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You absolutely should be putting all the effort, all of it, investing in yourself, basically.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, that having somebody to share it all with. Literally, this is one of my pet bugs. Is everyone's like, oh, you know, it just happens when it happens, and I'm like, no, there's so much action you can take, and you can be more in control than you think. But that's a whole other conversation.
Oh, yes.
Where can we find you to find out more?
You can find me at wejustclicked.uk, and for the singles event you can find me at singleandmingle.uk also. So yeah, really popular events. Cannot wait to do Fridays.
Hey, good luck.
Ace. Love it.
Anything else before we leave it there?
Just one quick reminder to just be yourself. Don't try and be anything you're not. Because it'll all unfold on the dates. I'm telling you now. Just be you. Just be unapologetically you, and have fun. Just enjoy your dating. Like, it is a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot about yourself, who you are, who you want to meet, and who you don't want to meet. So just enjoy the ride. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.